Here I will be critiquing an NFT collection featured in a social media marketplace. But first, consider this. We communicate in many different ways, including through our art. And it might not have occurred to you, but also in the realm of sales, how we choose to promote goods and services. And so, when someone who is likely from the dominant culture goes to sell a new form of art online, on social media, well, there is plenty for Rotalk's Race to talk about. And so, let's go. Okay, let me explain. UHive, a new social media app, has a marketplace in which you can use UHive tokens to purchase artwork NFT. And at the top of the page, there are collections of NFTs by the same artist. Now, typically I don't have very strong feelings about any of those, except for this one collection that I definitely do have some strong opinions about. But before I get to my critiques, let's take a look at it together, and I'll point out what initially attracted me to the collection. The artist is Ashti Dunye, and the collection is called Peaceful World. The description says, fighting for freedom, equality, and justice, and that the profits go to charity. As I scroll, I see images that are kinda cool. The titles of some of the individual images include Limitless, Voices Raised, and Opinions Matter. And so, even though they're a little pricey, I'm intrigued. But let's look a little closer. Let's take another look at that description. It also says, the struggle to transfer power from a rotten generation to a new generation. I absolutely can get on board with holding previous generations accountable for the specific things that they did wrong. But simply referring vaguely to a rotten generation and leaving it at that, that's careless and gives the impression that there wasn't even anything specific fueling this person's interest in activism. And those profits going to charity? We're not told what charity. I decide to learn something about the artist. They go by Cyber Freedom on UHive, but their profile is empty. No description, no posts. At this point, you're thinking, Ro, you're the only person who cares about this stuff, but I'm not done. I looked at the descriptions under the images. They weren't in English, so I copied and pasted them into a search to translate. The description under each NFT is words taken from a celebrity or other person of note and not attributed to them. I don't know about you, but to me, that feels wrong. We're using these social problems to make a profit. The artist is, and by connection, UHive is too. I mean, how on earth can we justify selling NFTs standing up for example, Black women and trans people, while simultaneously using statements from Black women and trans people, yes, to sell the product without proper attribution? This just is dirty, it is messy, it is wrong. It reminds me of the companies that tried to capitalize off of Juneteenth celebrations. Those of you who follow me at Rotalk's Race knows I very seldom show up just to criticize. I also have some suggestions. All right, I need to interrupt myself. In the original segments I filmed for this video, I listed things that they could do to make it right, to say something about the artist's interest in activism, to give proper citations of quotations. But I've changed my mind. It is just too much of a fixer-upper. They should just trash it all and learn from our mistakes. You cannot make people care about social justice if they do not. You cannot make people into activism if they are not into it. And so I'm not going to help these folks come up with some performative presentation so that they can sell NFT. No one's buying them anyway. All right, back to your original program. And I'm almost done. Now, here's the thing. I do believe UHive is the social media app of the future. In fact, at the moment, I am an ambassador for UHive, promoting it around the internet. But UHive's success in these different technological areas does not make them exempt from scrutiny. And just a side note, I did contact UHive directly prior to making this video. I emailed a gentleman at UHive who responded to me very respectfully, said he would take care of it right away, and nothing was done. Now, don't get me wrong, if he had jumped and fixed things right away, I still probably would have made this video, because there's an important lesson here. But the video could have ended very differently, on a positive note, showing what UHive is, who it wants to be, what reputation it wants to have. If UHive is going to continue selling itself as the app for the future, social awareness needs to be part of that future. Early on, when thinking about what to say in this video, I decided I was not going to spend 1 second advertising UHive. But I've changed my mind. UHive is all about freedom of speech, which tells me that they will have no problem with one of their ambassadors critiquing UHive, and this video will not be shadow banned.